Yeah, call back. I'm in a meeting right now. Okay, so in this module, you're going to learn how to answer if somebody says, call me back for whatever reason. They don't want to take it right now. Your human reaction, the normal human reaction that we all have is if somebody tells us, call back. Well, oh yeah, no problem. And of course, it's a problem here because callbacks either don't happen or your number gets blocked or whatever happens, but something will happen, right? So your closing ratio goes down. And you need to be smart in what to say. Now, before we get started, here a little story for you. It's gonna be a spooky one, so watch out. So I was on Reddit the other day and I read this one. Basically, a man, you can find it if you're interested in that story, let me know, I can send you the link. A man who's worked in a prison at a control room came to work one day, and he says it's a true story, so let's assume it is a true story. He came to the room to work, and his supervisor looked at him and was like, "What are you doing here?" And the guy's like, "I'm working here." And he came to his night shift, and the guy said, "Well, you called in a couple of hours ago, said you were sick." The guy's like, "What? I didn't call in to say that I was sick." So they was like, "Oh, that's weird." Well, anyways, he's there, right? He wasn't sick, so he gets settled up, gets in the control room, settles everything, checks out, the little note that said about his message, which came at 6:50. So the guy decides to call his wife and tell him about the story. So he dials, picks up a guy, and with a really raspy voice says, "Hello?" And the guy's like, the guy was called Taylor, and he was like, "What the fuck is going on?" So he was silent for a few seconds. He was like, "Who is this?" And the guy on the other line said, "This is Taylor. Who is this?" And the guy said, "Where's Anne?" Anne is his wife. It's like, she's in bed sleeping. And at that moment, he freaked out completely. He's like, "What the fuck? Who is this guy? He sounds like me. He says he's me." And he rushes out to the car, drops the telephone. And while he rushes out to his car, the colleague picks it up, and the guy drives home, crashes into the door, sees his wife sitting on the sofa watching television. He's like, "And who was here?" And he's like, "Nobody's been here." And the guy's like, she tells the whole story, and there's like, what just happened? So he picks up the phone, to call his supervisor actually at work, and when he picks up the phone is dead. The phone was dead. So he, at some point, calms down, drives back to work, but the guy tells him that, when he dropped the phone, he picked up the phone and he talked, and the guy explained that, he got sick and that I don't know what's going on, why are they bothering him? He doesn't like this kind of games, don't fool me and play around with me. And the guy seemed really sick, and the worst was he really sounded like Taylor. Now, turned out there was a storm the night before, and he found out that the phone in the entire area was knocked out, so there was no way they could actually have had a conversation. All right, so if that made you feel a little bit spooky, then I'm happy. Or if you don't like to feel spooky, I'm sorry. Or if you just think, well, maybe the guy was, being cheated on by his wife and by another guy. I don't know. We will probably never know. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna focus on how to handle the objections when somebody says, "Call me back," right? And hopefully it doesn't end like that story ended, where he basically spoke to himself. Okay, here we get started. The first one is called busy life. Do you want to know how it goes? Okay, here's how it goes. "Okay, I'll give you my home and my cell phone number, sir, if you want, but you'll never call me back. And it's not because you don't like the idea or you don't like me. The reality is that you'll put the idea in the back of your mind and forget about it. Because you've got a business, a life, a family, and more important things to worry about, sir. Now, let me do the worrying for you." Now, busy life 2 goes like this. "Sir, I know you have the best intentions to call me back, but let's face it. You and I are both very, very busy, and you simply don't have the time." Number 3, running a business. Hey, we both know that you're not gonna call back, and it's not because you don't like the idea. I honestly think you do like the idea. Let's face it, you're running a business. Number 4, the last thing on your mind. John, your intention will be to go back to me, but I know the last thing on your mind, an hour from now even, will be Stefan at XYZ company and XYZ project. I know this because I've been in the market long enough to know. Why? Because you run a business, sir, and more compelling situations will show up and will be in the front of your mind, while this one will move back. Now look, the best time to make a decision, as you know, is when the idea is fresh in your mind. I know you like the idea. Number 6, I don't take callbacks. You're like, what? Yeah, Brian Tracy actually already talked about it many years ago. This one is taken from the Stratton Oakmont manual. Here's how it goes. John, I don't take callbacks. I don't work like that. Now, I'm successful to the point where I don't have to chase your business. And believe me, I've seen the people who chase your business around, and it's not a pretty sight. I'm moving aggressively on the situation now, John, because pricing and timing are critical. The next one is called phone tag. Then you're like, phone tag, really? Should I really bring that up? Yeah, why not? Here's how it goes. Hey John, we're on the phone now. Look, we're both busy men and we don't have the time to play phone tag, do we? Now, do this. Own X amount of shares or buy product, whatever it is right now. You can make a step down sale. And then you say, lock yourself in at this price, John. If you want to increase your order later, after thinking it over, I'll charge you the same % of commission. Sounds fair enough? Okay, the next one is pretty cool. It's called shooting fish in a barrel. Really? Shooting fish in a barrel. Now, you should only use that analogy basically if you speak to somebody, a trader, a hard-charging salesman, somebody who usually has a dominant personality. You don't want to use it with somebody who's very sympathetic, who has a high level of empathy, who actually would feel bad for the fish. The idea that you give them, you shoot fish in a barrel. Now, if you have somebody who would feel bad about it, don't use it, all right? Here's how it goes. Hey John, let me ask you something. What more are you going to know about this product, about this stock, whatever it is, that you don't know now? And they're gonna be like, well, there's a high chance they actually answer, They're like, no, I don't, or they say, oh, I just don't have time. Then what you're gonna say is this. John, we have spent time and money analyzing every fundamental and technical factor. And believe me, we've done our own intelligence. It's a buy. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Next one is called simple decision. Look, John, we're both big enough not to have to run after each other for a few $1,000s. You've made this decision many times. I know you can make this simple decision right now, John. Look, you've done this plenty of time, but you've never come across a broker like me, John. You can be almost arrogant, but you are in service attitude. You're just showing them you're not needy. You don't care about a few $1,000. You don't want to come across as needy. If you come across as needy, you get pushed down the toilet, and that's not a good place to be. And finally, fresh in your mind. John, the best time to make a decision is when all the facts are fresh in your mind. And delaying this decision right now only restricts me in doing my job. Let me say this, and you look back. Now, if you paid close attention, then you might have seen that what happens in a lot of these closes is that you lower your voice and you use scarcity tonality. And why do you do that? Obviously, because you have something more compelling to tell them right now. If they hang up, they're losing out on something. And it's important that you pay close attention not just to what you say, but to how you say it. So use scarcity, use utter sincerity, and you will see how many more times, hey, they actually turn out to have some time right now, because they can make time. Everybody in a high position can usually make a little bit of time. So now that you've gone through these, you want to internalize them. So we do a little bit of memory time here. Take a few minutes, memorize them, and then go back to them. Take those that you find most compelling out and into your script and make them your own.